What's up, guys? Wednesday, aka my new fun day that I've appointed for like going out and still working on Kindle publishing, but this is going to be the day of the week, other than the weekends, where I get to actually value my free time that I have from not working a 9 to 5 any longer, and do what I've always wanted, which is simple stuff like even travel locally here in the San Francisco Bay Area, which, by the way, looks absolutely beautiful today on this partly cloudy Wednesday here in September in California. So I'm actually next to the Lawrence Hall of Science at UC Berkeley. From what I recall, I think UC Berkeley is still the #1 public rated university in the United States, and it's a university I wanted to be accepted at the age of 14. Here's something that no Kindle publisher can say, is that I started college at 11, transferred to UC Davis at 14. I was rejected by UC Berkeley. My GPA was too low. Going from community college to UC Davis. And I graduated with my Bachelor's of Arts in Sociology when I was 16. And because that's a useless degree, I ended up getting my MBA afterwards at a more normal age. But what does that really say, other than the fact that I'm probably just bragging about shit that happened a long time ago? I'm not like your typical entrepreneur, quote, quote, so to speak, that dropped out of college and, hated school and, hustled from scratch and never like really carried a white collar managerial job. Like, I thrive in the classroom. I'm what's considered to be, I guess, a great student in most things that I study. I'm a good student. I'm good at memorizing facts and, brown-nosing teachers and all that, whatever it takes to get the good grades. But, I'd say from graduating at a young age, and people who talk to me can verify this, is that I'm not a genius. Like, I might have been a child genius back when I could like do algebra like really easily and stuff, and I was way ahead in like every subject: writing, reading, math, definitely not sports at the time, but academically I excelled in just about everything. And why is that? Not because I had an extraordinary amount of talent. I have to concede, maybe I had a little bit of it, but most of it was just hard work, honestly. Like, that's not even trying to be humble. Most of it was just outworking everyone else past the point of what anyone else was doing inside the regular K through 5. Because the reason why I started college early is because it does not take 3 years to learn multiplication in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and even 6th grade, from like learning the multiplication table 12 by 12. That's something that I learned in 2 or 3 months over the summer, because I was very fortunate that my mom was a stay-at-home and took the time to educate me outside of the public school system. So that's how I got ahead. And yeah, along with having the blessing of having a mother who was able to take care of me in that regard, is that I worked my ass off. I still had a somewhat normal childhood. Had video games, friends, and all that. That was relatively normal. Things got less normal when I was in college, though, but I loved it. I mean, think about it. You're 11. I know you can't really think about it, but imagine you're 11. You go from having 6th grade peers to having college age peers and college age girls as your classmates when you're just starting puberty. It's fucking awesome. Well, you can't get laid, but it's still kind of awesome. And you get to choose the subjects you want to study. You get to choose your schedule. The cafeteria food is way better in college than it is at middle school. Like, it's the shit, or I thought it was. And so that's why I got through it. If you want details on how I did it, like more details on like the actual mechanics of like enrolling in homeschooling and getting your GED, like I had to pass my GED when I was 12. I can share that with you. But with all that said, is an education the way to get ahead in life? I would say that, conventional education that's taught both in primary and secondary schools, meaning, your K through high school and, even a 4-year degree, it gives you an edge, I'd say, to have a general education, but it definitely does not guarantee success in anything. Okay, and that's coming from someone who should be advocating an education, because I have the credentials. I've got my MBA. Graduated at 16 from what's considered to be an elite public school here in California, UC Davis. So I'm supposed to be backing that. But what I would say is that education that's taught now, with how things are, past the basics of math and reading and writing, like those are essential, obviously. But what's being taught in college is not really what you need to know in terms of succeeding in business. Like, they don't teach you to network. They don't teach you to, collaborate with people. They don't teach you what it really takes to hustle, beyond general education. So that's something that you have to pick up by either learning it the hard way with getting your getting your side hustle on with Kindle publishing. You'll learn that you have to make mistakes to succeed, and that it's gonna suck. It's gonna put away some money from your rent, possibly, or you're gonna have to wait until the next 2 paychecks before you can move on with your business. And that's something that's a hardship that no one in school will ever teach you, unless you're like really lucky that to have a professor that might have like stuck it out with running a business, but maybe failed and went back to being a professor. But yeah, I mean, that's the kind of education that you need. So, I know a lot of self-development sometimes gets flack for being overly woo-woo with no substance, and it's all like general rhetoric. But at the same time, it's also exactly what you need to study and hear as far as having the proper mindset and education that's needed to succeed with the online business op that you're pursuing, whether it's Kindle publishing, Amazon FBA, Merchant by Amazon, whatever. You need to know ahead of time what to expect, unless you want to learn the hard way, which is fine too, and it's sometimes necessary. But don't rely on your 4-year degree and think that, hey, I mean, unless you're somewhat specialized and you have like a Harvard MBA and you're just really good at quantitative math and you're running a hedge fund, like that's fucking awesome. Like that's impressive, and you'll do something with that. But for the 97% of you that don't have an elite education in something that's immediately applicable, unless you're like in computer engineering or engineering in general, or in the sciences, and you're more of a, how would you say, liberal arts background, like you can't depend on that for making the lifestyle of your dreams. And even then, how many software engineers are still, making $150K, and I suppose they're happy with what they do, but they still seek freedom. And I know they do, because a friend of mine, Marco, who I met through my self-publishing blueprint and the owner of Urban Writers, did just that. He was a 6-figure earning software engineer, and he ended up quitting his job shortly after starting self-publishing. He started his own writing company that's now scaling into something else potentially, and he's killing it. And talking to that guy, he knows his shit. Like he's gonna make it. He's gonna make it. But if I'm just rambling right now, just know that the education you're getting from fucking up in Kindle publishing is invaluable, and it's going to be necessary for you to make mistakes, realize that you need to at some point seek out help, whether it's, I'm not trying to upsell you on anything, whether it's going through a so-called coach or someone better than you, or someone earning more, or even just talking to peers, like, hey friend, here's what I'm doing, and here's what doesn't seem to be working. Can you take a look and maybe see what I could do better? And oftentimes, if you just approach someone the right way, they'll give you the answer. They'll tell you. So that's what you really need to do. And if I could change things all over again, would I not go through the process of starting college at 11, getting my GD at 12, transferring to UC Davis at 14, graduating? No, because it was an experience. It was a very unique experience, and I loved every moment of it. Most moments. I had no regrets about what I did, and I never, ever considered going through the normal, conventional path of education. Because if you think about it, I saved myself literally 6 years from, or 6 or 7 years from the traditional school system, which, you know, saved my family money and saved me time, because after a while you do get sick of school. But yeah, stay working hard. Be aware of what you're going through with your Kindle publishing business. You know, as you're scaling your mind, you'll see it's like a video game. Your mindset will change over time with, you know, making your first, what it takes to make your first $1,000 online with Kindle publishing, then what you need to do to make the first $1,000 per month, then ultimately 3,000, 5,000, 8,000, 12,000, and so on. And beyond that, and I'm not past the point of ever making past, what's my record? If I don't count crypto. If I don't count crypto, because that's bullshit, the most I've ever made between my job and with Kindle publishing is probably around 15 or 16K, maybe 14 or 15. But I've been told that past like the 30K a month mark, it's no longer about mechanics, because you pretty much know everything you need to do. It's just mindset shifts that you need to acclimate towards to reach the next levels. So it's like a video game. Like the Jacob Rothenberg of today can handle running a $10,000 a month, you know, even a $15,000 a month business. But the Jacob Rothenberg now can't, definitely would fucking crash with a 15 million a year business. So I'm gonna have to level up myself and, you know, skill up, mindset up, and just become a better, improved Jacob Rothenberg in order to reach the next level. So it sounds kind of simplistic, but at the same time it kind of is. You just need to level up, and you have to do what's necessary, take action. I'm starting to sound really generic, but that's really what it is. Do shit with your life, don't stay complacent, take action, make moves, and, you know, enjoy the journey. And now I'm starting to sound really, really generic with what I'm saying, so I'm going to enter the Lawrence Hall of Science. It's a really, really cool museum here in Berkeley, California. And here's a whale. It's probably from the shark whale tour we did in Cancun. It landed here from Mexico, Cancun, to here. So I'm going to call it now and enter. See you guys.